Good morning. My name is Madison Hoppess, and I am studying sports public relations. How do you this? Oh, we have to keep going. Keep going. We're going to my quote now. Okay, go back. My quote was written by George Bernard Shaw, and it says, "Life isn't about finding yourself, life is about creating yourself," which I think kind of applies to all of ISM, because we are trying to figure out what in the world we want to do after college and when we're grown up. The reason why I'm studying public relations, a large reason I am interested in this career is due to personal experiences with it. For about 4 years ago, my older sister Hagen was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma bone cancer. She had to take on more than 12 rounds of chemotherapy, which placed her in the hospital weekly. While in the hospital, many professional athletes, such as like Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Mavericks, and even like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, they would come around the hospitals in the children's area and just visit with the kids and try to just put a smile on their face. And so I really gravitated towards this and wanted to be a part of making these kids smile, even if it is for a couple minutes. I'm never going to become a professional athlete, and so I find this is the best way for me to tie in my love of sports and my love of people and interacting with others. In ISM, I hope to receive more inside look on public relations, particularly dealing with sports, and as much hands-on experience as I can. I look forward to learning as much of the basics as possible, allowing myself a head start when actually trying to start this career. No, we're going for it from now on. My mission statement is, while in ISM, I hope to grow experience in my possible career field, as well as a strong connection with members in the same profession. To achieve this goal, I will put 100% into my assignments and constantly remain humble. I added a strong connection with others in this career field because public relations is hugely dealing with other people and creating relationships a little bit more than your typical job. So my first interview I had was, sorry, this is not my first interview. One of my interviews was with Eric Capper. He is the UNT Senior Associate Director of Athletics. He was given to me by the gentleman from TCU, which I will talk about here soon. And he emphasized to always think outside the box, to come up with ideas that are better than the competitions. We had a great long interview, and one of the coolest things that Mr. Capper did was he brought in 2 interns that they actually have. And I was able to ask them questions, how they got into UNT internship, what some of their tasks are like, and then just like where they thought they might have been at this time in their career, or where they're wanting to go with this career. Heath Nielsen was another interview I had. He is the Associate Athletic Director at Baylor University. It was a phone interview due to him being all the way in Waco. Mr. Nielsen's favorite part of his career is working in sports and college athletics and getting to experience not only the glamorous moments, but also the parts with a little more drama to them. So he really likes the thrill of being in sports, being in public relations, dealing with the media, and then also being with college students and one of the topics that he brought up was possibly dealing with a possible Heisman candidate, and how exciting and it is to deal with all of the media surrounding that, which was pretty cool. What left silver one? This one? This one?
Yeah, left side, left.
There it goes. Okay, cool. And then Mark Cohen was actually my first interview. I found him through just looking on the web and everything, whereas all my other ones were through connections. He mostly enjoys the privilege of seeing athletes come and play for the university as teenagers, and 4 or 5 years later leave as strong men. Mark Cohen actually had a little different job than all the other professionals that I interviewed. All the other professionals that I interviewed were pretty much like in the athletic director's side of things, whereas he's strictly in media relations. So he had a little bit of different points on some of my interview questions, which was cool. And then Sarah Milton is the Dallas Mavericks Director of Public Relations. I also found her through my research. Mrs. Milton gave a great piece of advice. She said, there will be times when you are going to turn down interviews or charity events, and it is crucial you respond in a professional way, that those companies will want to contact you again in the future. It was super cool listening to someone who works actually in a professional sport like NBA. It was different than all my others because she was the only one who was not in college sports. Whoops. And then Kenny Mossman is the University of Oklahoma's Senior Associate Athletic Director. He loves the changing nature of his job and finding new ways to execute it. A really cool opportunity that I got with Mr. Mossman was talking about the University of Oklahoma's Public Relations Department, as well as their internships, and getting to hear some possible opportunities I may have while attending the University of Oklahoma next fall. And then the last interview I had was with my mentor now, Mr. Bob Berta. He is the Big 12 Conference Associate Commissioner of Communications. His responsibilities include overseeing community relations, athletic directors, marketing, football communications and media day, television for baseball, as well as being the staff liaison for both baseball and wrestling. He has such a cool job with so many responsibilities. He also has worked in the Mountain Conference where University of Colorado's in, and then he also worked at Florida State for a short time, and Miami, the U. So that was really cool. A huge piece of information that he gave me that I would have never even thought about was the fact that he goes to all of these sporting events, and the Big 12 has 10 different colleges that is under it. And while at those, he cannot show favoritism whatsoever. And so that was really cool. He has to make sure he has no team color on that is at that sporting event, and he has nothing on social media that might promote one college more than the other. So that was really, really cool, and something I would have never even thought about, because these colleges do take it pretty personal, how their conference treats them. And then my research assessments. So the first research assessment I did was strategic public relations, and it was covering just how to really work the PR system and how how to make your public relations strategy the best it can be and execute it the best it can. Then my second one was it wasn't over public relations. I actually did one over interviewing and how to interview well and get the most information out of the person you are trying to interview. A large reason I did an assessment over interviewing and not technically public relations was due to my first interview. It was a little short and I was extremely nervous, so I was like, I need to practice this. So I did an assessment over interviewing. And then I did an assessment over our UNT visit. I went to a public relations class where they were writing a press release. And then also a class where it was a video broadcast class, and it wasn't honestly something I was very interested in as a career field, but I did find a way to tie those two classes in together, with the first class doing press releases for a TV interview, like a news show that my second class was putting together. And then the UNT classes is also where I got my original work idea from. At the moment, I hope to work with my mentor and create a portfolio of press releases that are to do with things in the news and events that are occurring in the college sports field. So I believe that would be a really helpful thing to start learning, especially because of the UNT class I visited, and they were juniors just now learning how to write a press release, so why not learn now? Thank you for listening to my presentation, and that is it. Clap, people.
We didn't clap for Katie, so give it up for Katie. It was like right at 12 minutes.